Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Playbook. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah. And today we're diving into something that makes a lot of English learners nervous: small talk.
Yes, small talk. You know, those casual conversations you have with people you don't know well, like taxi drivers, baristas, people in elevators,
Oh man, elevator small talk is the worst.
right? But here's the thing. Small talk is actually super important for English learners because it's everywhere. And today we're going to make it way less scary.
We've got a fun dialogue between a taxi driver and a passenger, and we're going to break down all the phrases and expressions you can use in real life situations.
Plus, we'll talk about those awkward questions you should probably avoid asking.
Yeah, like, how old are you? Or how much money do you make?
So stick around. By the end of this episode, you'll have tons of practical phrases to sound more natural and confident in English. Let's jump right in.
All right, so we're going to listen to a conversation between a taxi driver and his passenger. They're making small talk during the ride.
And just a heads up, we're going to play it once all the way through, then we'll break it down piece by piece.
Sound good? Here we go. First up, let's talk about the phrase, "if you don't mind me saying so."
This is such a useful phrase. The taxi driver says, "You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so."
Right, so this phrase is basically a way to soften something you're about to say that might be a little rude or sensitive.
It's like you're apologizing in advance. You can use it at the beginning or the end of a sentence.
For example, I could say, "David, you look a bit tired today, if you don't mind me saying so."
Thanks, Sarah. Or I could say, "If you don't mind me saying so, I just don't think this is a good idea."
Exactly. It just makes your statement feel less harsh.
Now, the driver also says something else super polite. "Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?"
Okay, so nosy, let's define that. If someone is nosy, it means they're overly curious. They're asking too many personal questions.
Yeah, like that one person at parties who asks about your salary or your relationship status right after meeting you.
Exactly. So by saying, "excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy," he's acknowledging that his question might be too personal, but he's asking anyway.
It's a polite way to ask sensitive questions. But here's the thing. Just because you use this phrase doesn't mean the other person has to answer.
Right. The passenger could have easily said, "I'd rather not say," or "that's a bit personal."
Okay, next phrase. Don't get me wrong.
This one is so common in everyday English.
The driver says, "Don't get me wrong, it's just that you seem so young."
So, "don't get me wrong" means don't misunderstand what I'm saying. You're clarifying your intentions.
Let me give you some examples. "Don't get me wrong, I think John is a nice guy. He's just a bit disorganized."
Or, "I do have a few problems with the plan, but don't get me wrong, I still think it's a good idea."
You're basically saying, "Hey, I'm not attacking you or this thing. I'm just making a point."
Super useful for avoiding misunderstandings.
All right, moving on. The passenger says, "I'm 26 years old. And what about yourself?"
Now, technically, this isn't grammatically correct.
Wait, what?
The correct version would be, "what about you?" But in everyday American English, people say, "what about yourself?" all the time.
Oh, interesting. So it's one of those things that native speakers do, even though it's not technically proper grammar.
Exactly. And if you use it, you'll sound really natural and fluent.
For example, "Hey, Sarah, I'm going on vacation this weekend. What about yourself?"
Perfect. Now let's look at a couple more quick phrases.
Sure thing. The driver says this right at the beginning when she tells him where to go.
Sure thing basically means yes, no problem, or I'll do it.
Like if someone asks, "Can you send me that email by 5 p.m.?" You can say, "Sure thing."
Or, "could you pick up some milk on the way home?" Sure thing.
Easy, casual, and very common.
Next, born and raised. The driver says, "I was born and raised here in the good old US of A."
So if you're born and raised somewhere, it means you were born there and you grew up there. You've lived there your whole life.
Like, "I was born and raised in London," or "she's born and raised in Tokyo."
And speaking of the good old US of A, that's such a fun, patriotic way Americans sometimes refer to the United States.
Yeah, it's kind of a fond, affectionate way of talking about America.
You might also hear the good old UK or the good old days.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of phrases. But now let's talk about something really important. What not to ask during small talk.
Yes, because different cultures have different rules about what's polite and what's not.
In the dialogue, the taxi driver asks the passenger how old she is, and she responds, "Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?"
Right. So in Anglo culture, like the US, UK, Canada, Australia, it's generally considered rude to ask a woman her age.
Women can be sensitive about age, and even though not everyone minds, it's safer to just avoid the question.
What else should you avoid?
Money. Anglo people are really uncomfortable talking about money.
Yeah, you can ask someone what you do for a living, but don't ask how much money do you make?
That's way too personal. Asking about salary is a big no-no.
Another tricky one, asking if someone is married.
Now, this one depends on context. If someone has already mentioned their spouse or kids, then it's fine to ask, "How long have you been married?" But if you're just meeting someone, especially if you're a guy asking a woman, saying, "Are you married?" can sound like you're hitting on them.
Yeah, it can come across as flirty or like you have ulterior motives.
So be careful with that one. Okay, so here's a quick recap of safe small talk topics.
Weather, always a classic. Nice weather today, isn't it?
Travel. Where are you from? Or have you traveled anywhere interesting?
Hobbies. What do you like to do in your free time?
And compliments. That's a cool jacket. Or I love your accent.
Just keep it light, friendly, and respectful.
All right, David, let's do some quick role play so listeners can hear these phrases in action.
Love it. Okay, I'll be a taxi driver. You're the passenger. Go.
Hi, can you take me to the airport, please?
Sure thing. Heading out on vacation?
Yeah, I'm going to visit family in Spain.
Oh, nice. Do you speak Spanish?
A little bit. What about yourself? Have you traveled much?
I was born and raised here, but I've been to Mexico a few times. Beautiful country.
That's awesome. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how long have you been a driver?
About 10 years now. I love it. I meet interesting people every day.
Perfect. See how natural that felt?
Right? Just using those phrases makes the conversation flow so much better.
And notice how neither of us asked about age, money, or marital status.
Exactly. We kept it friendly and appropriate.
All right, everyone. That's it for today's episode.
We hope you picked up some useful phrases for small talk. Remember, if you don't mind me saying so, don't get me wrong. What about yourself? These will make you sound so much more natural.
And don't forget, small talk doesn't have to be scary. Just be polite, friendly, and respectful, and you'll do great.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the English Playbook, and leave a comment telling us where you're from.
We'd love to hear from you. And if you have topics you want us to cover, let us know.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.